I have an experience that maybe some of you are familiar with. I have a magic closet. I put stuff in it, in boxes. And the boxes marry other boxes. And they have baby boxes that grow into bigger boxes, which then go and find other spouses, and they get married and have kids. And so what started in the closet is a couple of boxes. One day you open it up, and inside you find stuff. Now, it might not be a closet. It might be your attic. It might be your basement. It might be the garage. But I'm willing to bet that most of us have experienced the magic closet. It's funny how stuff grows, isn't it? I don't want to get any fights between spouses, but I just want to point out that sometimes we have to make a decision about some of the stuff that's taking over parts of our homes, our attics, our basements, our garages. We look at all the stuff that suddenly appeared. We don't know how it got there because it kind of accumulated over time and it kind of built up. But when we look at it and we experience it and we say, okay, I got to make a change. Can't be like this any longer. And we start going through the boxes. And sometimes we say, why have I been keeping this? I mean, really? Or like, oh, that's where that went. I was looking for that 15 years ago. Now I know. Sometimes we see this stuff and say, I can't use it, but I know someone who can, and we're gonna get it out of our house and we're gonna give it to somebody else so that it can be in a box and grow. Sometimes we say, I can recycle that, or I can repurpose that. And sometimes we just look at it and say, it's got to go. It doesn't belong. It's junk. Truly, it's for the garbage. It's this process of cleansing. We do it with stuff all the time. But the same process is also true for our souls. It's a great line that we talk about in the scriptures when St. Paul tells us that, do you know that you're a temple of the Holy Spirit? You're a temple. You are a sacred space. That it's not just the sacred tabernacle here, but once we receive Holy Communion, Christ dwells in us. So we're temples. And today we hear that when Jesus comes to the temple, he does some house cleaning. And he starts overturning stuff and moving stuff and telling people, hey, this is a house of prayer. This is a sacred temple. It's that process of cleansing again. Deciding what should stay and what should leave. What needs to grow and what needs to go. That process is a process that we do all the time. We can't just say I did it once and forget about it because stuff grows. We can't just say, I cleaned that out in 2000. It's fine. What's true for the stuff is true for the temple and it's true for our hearts. And folks, in this third Sunday of Lent, when we hear these powerful readings of the 10 Commandments, the law that was given that was meant to help us decide what stays and what goes, what belongs and what's got to be thrown out. Those commandments have guided people of faith and continue to guide people of faith. And so here we are as we find ourselves. Now, I'm the guy given the mission, and I know how this works. You all check me out and go, would I really listen to him? Can I even see him? I'm trying to be taller. It's just that the mission, which is walking with the Lord through Holy Week, is meant to talk about what's actually in the gospel. Jesus says, you destroy this temple. You destroy this temple. 3 days, it's going to rise. And they didn't get it. But what we're going to talk about for these 4 days of the mission, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, is this journey that Christ made, coming to Jerusalem, his Holy Thursday, as we celebrate it, and what he gave us in that tremendous night, his Good Friday, when the world itself was transformed, and the power of the resurrection on Easter Sunday. We're going to talk about these themes. We're going to look at how that journey with Christ is meant to be our journey. And how as we walk with the Lord through Holy Week, it's meant to empower us as we embark through this season of Lent to walk side by side with what the Lord has done for us to conform our lives to Christ so that we can live with new power, new hope, new grace. We're cleaning out our hearts, deciding what stays, what goes. And we're going to take the mission to look at that. Now, I'm going to be kind of blunt. Missions are supposed to be about talking about the hard stuff. If you're looking for warm and fuzzy, you want to go to Starbucks. Really. No, really. We're going to talk about some very heavy things. But the talks go about 35 to 45 minutes. So the one at 9 o'clock will be done well before 10. The same thing for the one at 6 o'clock, done well before 7. I'll stay around for questions and such, but it's meant to be a short, focused, concentrated talk. It's meant to give you something to think about. There'll be handouts for questions and such. The point behind this is simple. The Lord cleaned out the temple. We've cleaned out our houses. We have the opportunity every Lent to really look inside our hearts and say, what belongs? Lord, what's for you? And maybe ask the harder question, what's got to go? Okay, that's fair. That's faith. And that's how we follow the Lord. I invite you to come and check out the mission. I invite you to come and see for yourself. But more importantly, I invite that this Lent be a time where we conform our hearts to Christ. And in following Christ, grow closer to God and the people placed in our midst. And for any of you who like to, you want to kind of check out and see what's going to look like ahead of time, you can find me. I keep a website and I'm on iTunes. I podcast. So you can hear my homilies and my talks as well. You can find it at studyprayserve.com or on iTunes. It's under Catholic Inspiration. But I hope and pray for all of us that this season of Lent be filled with blessings. May we clean our houses well.